When Europe trembled under the thunder of Napoleon's armies, one small German state made a decision that would change its destiny forever. In 1806, as the ancient structure of the Holy Roman Empire collapsed under the pressure of French military dominance, the margraviate of Baden faced an existential question: resist and risk annihilation, or align with the most powerful man in Europe, Napoleon Bonaparte. For centuries, Baden had been a modest but strategically located territory along the Rhine, caught between larger powers like Austria and France. Its ruling house had survived wars, shifting alliances, and imperial politics within the fragmented German world. But the dawn of the 19th century brought a storm unlike any before. Napoleon's victories at Ulm and Austerlitz shattered Austrian influence in southern Germany. The old imperial system that had protected small states like Baden was disintegrating. Rather than cling to a dying order, Baden's ruler, Charles Frederick, made a calculated move. He sided with Napoleon. This was not an act of blind loyalty. It was a masterstroke of survival. In July 1806, Napoleon dissolved the Holy Roman Empire and reorganized dozens of German states into the Confederation of the Rhine, a French-aligned political bloc designed to secure his eastern frontier. Baden joined this new alliance. As a reward for its support, Baden was elevated from a margraviate to a Grand Duchy. Charles Frederick became Grand Duke, dramatically increasing his prestige and territory. Through Napoleon's territorial restructuring, Baden gained lands from ecclesiastical states and smaller principalities. Monasteries were secularized, church lands redistributed, and feudal privileges dismantled. Overnight, Baden transformed from a mid-sized border state into a significantly expanded and modernized Grand Duchy. But loyalty had a price. Badenese troops marched under Napoleon's banners in campaigns across Europe from Spain to Russia. Thousands of soldiers from this small German state fought in distant lands, including the disastrous invasion of Russia in 1812. Many never returned. The alliance that brought Baden elevation also tied its fate to Napoleon's rise and fall. At home, however, profound reforms reshaped society. Influenced by Napoleonic legal and administrative models, Baden introduced modern bureaucratic governance. Feudal burdens were reduced, legal systems standardized, and religious toleration expanded. The old medieval structures gave way to a more centralized and rational state apparatus. In many ways, Baden emerged more modern than many of its German neighbors. When Napoleon's empire began to crumble after 1813, Baden again demonstrated strategic flexibility. Rather than remain blindly loyal, it shifted its alignment toward the coalition powers. This pragmatic pivot allowed Baden to survive the Congress of Vienna in 1815 without losing its newly gained status. Remarkably, the Grand Duchy retained most of its territorial expansions and remained sovereign within the German Confederation. What could have been political suicide in 1806 instead became a case study in calculated diplomacy. Baden did not conquer Europe. It did not command massive armies. It did not dictate the fate of empires. Yet by reading the winds of power and choosing loyalty at the right moment and withdrawal at another, it preserved and even enhanced its sovereignty during one of Europe's most violent transformations. The story of Baden joining Napoleon is not merely about alliance. It is about survival through strategic loyalty. In an era when giants clashed and borders dissolved overnight, this small Rhine state proved that sometimes the greatest strength lies not in brute force, but in timing, adaptation, and political intelligence. And when the cannons finally fell silent, Baden stood not as a victim of Napoleon's ambition, but as one of its unexpected beneficiaries.